Welcome to Enzyme Safety Module 2, where we will cover the health effects of enzymes. This module is the second of 5 modules as part of the IFF Enzyme Safety Training Program. We encourage you to view each module consecutively. There are 3 learning objectives outlined in this module. First, after this session, you should understand the health effects of enzymes and how they are classified. Secondly, you will learn about the stages of respiratory allergy associated with enzyme exposures and the specific symptoms. And finally, you should understand the importance of early reporting and intervention. Enzymes are microbial proteins that are foreign to the human immune system, and with that, they are classified as respiratory sensitizers. This means that they can elicit an immune response in susceptible individuals that can cause respiratory allergy and may result in occupational asthma from repeat exposures over time. It is important to note that enzyme proteins are similar to other proteins you experience in the environment, such as pollen or mites, and these proteins can also elicit an allergy response. Enzymes are not considered food allergens or skin sensitizers. However, a specific class of enzymes known as proteases can cause eye and skin irritation. Since enzymes are classified as respiratory sensitizers, they have hazard communication and labeling requirements that are important to understand when you order and receive enzyme products. You will see these pictograms and hazard warning labels on all accompanying documentation and labels. Section 2 of the Safety Data Sheet contains the hazard communication information for enzymes, including the hazard symbol, the signal word, the hazard statement, and the precautionary statement. All enzymes contain the same hazard communication information as respiratory sensitizers. However, only proteases will carry an additional warning for skin irritation. It is important when you receive enzyme products that you read the safety data sheets in full and understand the labeling. Enzymes are respiratory sensitizers and can elicit allergy symptoms from repeat inhalation exposures. There are 3 stages in the progression of respiratory allergy in response to enzyme exposure. The first stage is sensitization. This is the presence of antibodies specific to the enzyme that an individual has been exposed to if they inhale enzyme aerosols in excess. Once this occurs, one may elicit an immune response and develop antibodies against that specific enzyme. However, it is important to note at this point there are no symptoms. It is only after repeat exposures that some individuals may proceed to the next stage. Stage 2, known as elicitation. And it is at this stage that one will develop symptoms of allergy. We will go over this in more detail later. Further exposures, once elicitation occurs, may result in progression to stage 3, which is an advanced state of allergy-induced occupational asthma. Again, it is important to know that since this is a progression, early intervention and reporting is key to making sure that you avoid moving to stage 3. Let's focus on stage 1. As mentioned, stage 1 is sensitization, which is the presence of antibodies in the blood as a result of being exposed to an airborne protein such as an enzyme. The immune system recognizes the enzyme protein and produces specific antibodies. The presence of enzyme-specific antibodies in the bloodstream does not cause symptoms or ill effects. Sensitization to enzymes can only be diagnosed through a medical allergy test. We will cover this in Module 5 when we discuss medical surveillance. The same immune process also occurs following airborne exposures to environmental allergens such as pollen, dust, and mites. We will go over the differences between an environmental allergy and an enzyme allergy later. In stage 2, sensitized individuals may begin to experience allergy-related symptoms after repeat exposures to enzyme aerosols. This is known as elicitation. It is important to note that not all sensitized individuals progress to the elicitation stage, as the immune response is different for every individual. Allergy symptoms may include watery eyes, runny nose, coughing, and wheezing. As you can see, these symptoms are similar to other respiratory allergies. Prolonged symptoms resulting from enzyme exposure can lead to more severe health effects if there is no early reporting or intervention. Stage 3 is known as the advanced stage of respiratory allergy. Repeat exposures to symptomatic individuals may progress to allergy-induced asthma. Occupational asthma is a medical condition that requires the individual to cease working with enzyme materials until appropriate controls can be implemented. It is important to report symptoms early to avoid moving to stage 3. The advanced symptoms of occupational asthma include narrowing of the airways, excess mucus production, shortness of breath, tight chest, coughing, and pale color. To summarize, it is important to understand the symptoms of enzyme allergy. In stage 1, known as sensitization, there are no symptoms and can only be detected through medical surveillance. In stage 2, allergy symptoms are present, with symptoms including watery eyes, runny nose, sneezing, and coughing. Finally, in stage 3, the advanced health state occupational asthma, the symptoms comprise narrowing of the airways, excess mucus production, shortness of breath, and chest tightness. As a reminder, skin and eye irritation are only present with proteases and no other enzyme. It is important for early reporting of any symptoms. Contact your HR department or your manager when symptoms are experienced that may be associated with enzyme exposures. Early intervention is critical to prevent the advanced symptoms of occupational asthma. It can be challenging to distinguish between a seasonal allergy and a work-related allergy because the symptoms are the same. Unlike exposures to environmental allergens, enzyme allergy symptoms typically appear during work hours and dissipate after leaving the work area. For instance, as you end your shift, you may notice an alleviation of enzyme allergy symptoms. However, when you return to working with enzymes and experience allergy symptoms, this is a good indication that your allergies are related to enzyme exposure and should be reported immediately. Let's do a knowledge check. Our first objective was to understand the health effects of enzymes and how they are classified. As a reminder, enzymes are classified as respiratory sensitizers. They can elicit an immune response in susceptible individuals that can cause respiratory allergy and may result in occupational asthma with repeat exposures over time. The stages of respiratory allergy are associated with enzyme exposures and specific symptoms. As mentioned, there are 3 stages. Stage 1 is called sensitization and occurs when the immune system recognizes the enzyme and produces specific antibodies. There are no symptoms at this stage. In stage 2, called elicitation, sensitized individuals begin to experience allergy-related symptoms after repeat exposures to enzymes. Symptoms include watery eyes, runny nose, coughing, and wheezing. Stage 3 is when respiratory allergies progress to occupational asthma. Symptoms include narrowing of the airways, excessive mucus production, and shortness of breath. Finally, it is important to understand the need to report symptoms early. Early reporting of enzyme-related symptoms can help prevent the progression of health effects. Intervention is the key to implementing control measures to minimize exposures. This concludes our session on the health effects of enzymes. What's next? We will cover working safely with enzymes in Module 3. The main goal of an enzyme safety program is to maintain worker exposures below levels that will cause adverse health effects. Module 3 will discuss risk management controls and safe handling practices that will be used to reduce enzyme aerosols and minimize worker exposures. Thank you for attending this session, and we look forward to having you join us in Module 3.